Hello, everyone. I'm Christina. I'm coming on just a few minutes early for those of you who are waiting until 4 o'clock. Just a few minutes early because I actually have to leave at 4:30. So I had to start just a few minutes early so that we could cover everything that I really wanted to cover on this Sunday. Welcome, Sapphire of God. Hello. I'm so glad to see you here. Thank you so much. Just welcome everybody. That's the first thing I want to do. I want to give a shout out to everyone, and I mean everyone who helps out this channel. It's wonderful to have that support, and a big thanks to Paul and Adrian, who are always sharing out my videos, and I mean everything that you do. I really do appreciate it. For everybody still coming in, like, subscribe, share the videos. It helps me a lot in my shadow banned prison. And please, please, please always comment. All right. So today we've got that title, One Crisis After Another is Ending 2021. Okay, we see it coming. We do. Welcome, Fiddlesticks, Paula, Susie, Lip Service, Clarissa, B-Ran, Crystal. Everybody's coming in. Good morning from Oz. That's awesome. Because we need to talk about Australia too while we're here. Okay, in fact, let's go ahead and start off with that because we've been hearing that the mandates are getting worse in Australia, right? And that they're looking to freeze accounts, pensions, fine you certain things, right? However, PolitiFact, fact checker, wanted to tell us this right here. Okay, it says, but a claim about Premier Daniel Andrews applying financial penalties to pressure people isn't true. The Australian Prime Minister is freezing people's bank accounts who haven't had the V. Okay, so this post was flagged as part of Facebook's efforts to combat false news and misinformation on its news feed. We found no evidence to support the claim that Andrews is freezing the bank accounts for, the refusers. He's not trying to pressure them or anything. All right, so that right there leads me to ask one thing. Australia, what are you saying? What are you seeing? Okay, that's what I want to know. Because usually y'all would be. So as y'all come through and see this later, if y'all know what's going on because you live there, let me know. Crystal Lloyd says no freeze that I know of yet, but Andrew's other laws are so terrible. Okay, it looks like they're just trying to skirt around certain issues. That's sounds about right. But still, love to hear what y'all have to say always. The earth is it's groaning in a manner where a lot of places that you didn't have seismic activity, they're having it. And recently New Mexico had one on November 1st that I noticed. It was a 4.5, and I'm telling you, it's like really close to an ancient volcano that was thought to be dormant. I think it's waking back up. It's like the very north, kind of close to the right side edge of New Mexico. There's a dormant volcano a lot of people don't know about, but it has been lighting up. But that's among a lot of the problems that we're seeing environmentally, globally. All right, it's affecting everything, including, we're already having shipping problems as it is, but because we've got the winter storms that are coming in, even that is affecting it. There are people that can't even grow their crops all over the place, because the weather has just been so completely out of control. It's unpredictable in a lot of ways. And when people have storms nowadays, we have mega storms, we have mega lightning, we have mega floods, we have mega quakes, and they talk about mega tsunamis now. That's the way things are going. So it's really hard to really know from day to day if your shipment's going to come in or not, if they're going to keep coming in, which I sincerely doubt. I think at some point there won't be any more shipments coming in. I think it's going to start getting that bad. And we're not only getting our winter storms coming in, but we're getting auroras. And I heard there was one in Colorado too. That's the closer south, the further south you see them as time goes by, will let you know how bad it should coincide with how bad things are going to be getting environmentally on the earth, disaster wise, because that really shows you that the auroras aren't supposed to be beyond a certain point southern wise. Usually, you know, like it's rare to see auroras in like Florida, for example, but the earth is under a lot of pressure. Our shields are being tested to the limit. And while all this happening, yeah, we've got something that I still don't really understand. They're saying in California, a Long Beach port will issue fines for backlogged cargo. And I guess I'm in denial or I'm just in shock, but if I'm not mistaken, it's saying that they're going to find the ships that are out in the water because they're backlogged. I hope I'm wrong about that, but that's what it looks like. The ports will issue fines for backlogged cargo. I don't know what to think of that. I've read it. Maybe y'all can help me out with this. This is AP News. LA Long Beach ports will issue fines for backlogged cargo October 29th. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that. It says cargo containers sit stacked at the port in San Pedro. They will begin fining shipping companies if they let cargo containers stack up as the nation's busiest twin harbors deal with an unprecedented backlog of vessels. There are so many things that are behind this. I mean, I know that, you know, YouTube has pretty much beat this with a dead horse. You know, it's not just one part of the supply chain. It's everything, especially with the mandates that are going in California that are making things even harder. I don't think they have a real way out at this point. I think they're just killing themselves. They're just burying themselves further. I don't know if they know what they're actually doing. Hello, DBZ. Welcome. John. Okay. Hello, Mark. I am in Texas, Southeast Texas, Northern Houston area. Yeah, DAP 2030, he's always been good at keeping up with this. He really is. I know that we are in a magnetic pole reversal. We are heading for a pole shift at some point. So all the things that we're seeing, this is exactly what should be happening when you're getting ready. You will have problems with your crops and fires and crazy winds and sudden freezing temperatures and floods all over the place. So no matter what the government tries to do, at some point, they're just not going to be able to, no matter who's in office, because it's going to get that bad. It really will. Hello, Richard. Welcome, welcome. All right. And the real estate market, especially Zillow, they fired 25% of their workforce because of their losses. And a lot of people heard about how they were upside down in profit, but that's 25% of their workforce. They're out of a job now, right in front of the holidays. And then you look at what's going on overseas. China's government starting to warn people to stock up for the coming months. And this is where we start looking at the bigger picture, not just what's happening here, but everywhere, right? And, you know, our government doesn't tell us to stock up. They call us hoarders and, you know, tell us, oh, don't worry, we've got this under control. You know why? Because we're surveilling everything. We're watching your income, your spending. We're watching everything, every move you take. We know when you sleep. We know everything. All right. That's what they're concerned with, rather than for our real welfare. You see, they really aren't that worried about us. It feels like the citizens are under attack from its own government. But, you know, while Chinese is warning their people, we're just getting news reports. You know, U.S. farmers, they're having trouble on their farms. They can't grow it. You know why? One of the reasons, they can't get fertilizer and their farming equipment. They can't get that fixed, and they can't get some of it in because of shipping and availability of parts, the shortages. And so we look at these food shortages ahead of Thanksgiving. We look at all of them, and they even say, oh, there's probably going to be a turkey shortage. And this is where we have to stop and think about what the meaning of Thanksgiving was in the very beginning. The colonists were starving, much like a lot of us are going to be facing starvation. But because people worked together, even though they were of different cultures, that they pulled together what they had and they made a meal. And I know that it's easy to look at what we don't have, but for Thanksgiving, this is definitely one of those years where you're going to be thinking how grateful you are for what you do have. At least that. And Thanksgiving, have you ever, I don't know if y'all had a mom and a grandma and great grandma and all the women in my mom's side of the family, they could pull, you could open the cabinet and like you see nothing there, like nothing. You might see some flour and a little bit of Crisco and some raisins or something. You don't know, there's nothing to eat, but somehow my mom or her grandparents, they could all just come off with these 4-course meals with ingredients in their house. And I think that even if you don't have a turkey, there's so many other things that you can have, like lasagna, or they've got turducken and just things like that. You can get creative and maybe have, if you're on the coast, a seafood buffet for your Thanksgiving. Use what you've got and be thankful for what you have, because it's not about how much you've got. It's about what you do with what you've got. And when you learn to be grateful, then you start appreciating what you have more. And that right there can change your whole outlook, to always just be so thankful for what you do, to learn to appreciate, because a lot of us are survivors and we come from survivors before us that taught us a lot. And so when we go into this season, I want you to keep that in mind, keep that in heart, because sometimes it's when you're on your knees that you remember that's where you start praying. That's where we pray, is on our knees, right? We're going to make it through, especially if we come together. Okay. I know, I understand, Meg, that y'all all, that y'all try to make something pagan out of everything, and it's a little bit tiring. What I understand from history, it's the colonial historical view of it, and the spirit of it was about giving and being thankful in times of hardship. So I really can't understand the demonism in that. I really can't. I'm just in a world where everything is already so depressing, it would be nice to have just one thing to be happy about, especially during a winter that's coming up. We need something to bring us together in these times, even if it's Thanksgiving. It seems like the original story would fit really good with the time that we're in now. I'll look into it, but I mean, it's just, at this point, it's like, the point is to be thankful. That's what the point always was, to be thankful for no matter what. All right, we're going to move on. So beyond the shortages, as far as things that we can touch, it's coming out now that big energy companies are warning Americans of higher prices. Now, if you remember during the Texas blizzard, I do, we had some residents seeing electric bills in the thousands of dollars. Gas in all forms are going to be in short supply this winter, and definitely more expensive. I'm about to go refill my propane bottle from my Mr. Buddy heater, exchange it out at Kroger, and I'm going to see what the price is right now and get back with y'all. At some point, I'll maybe put it in the comments section. Especially with them saying it's going to happen. Has it started already? I think in some parts of our country it has, but in Texas, I think we're still doing all right. I mean, we're seeing the rising prices, but I don't know if we're seeing it the same as everyone else. And then, a little bit of other good news is a truck driver that won Virginia. And, the former boss man in this political race, he doesn't want to concede, and now they're trying to smear him. Calls for him to resign are coming out over past Twitter comments. But, in these days, it's the days where people do get offended. People have their own beliefs, and that's going to be an issue because of the way that prophecy discusses things. There are going to be clearly two sides. There's no way about it. But when you're running for political office or anything, anytime you're out in the media, really out there, they will go back through everything and try to shame you. But that is to deflect attention off of all the failures of the former boss man. I mean, if he had all these years to do something, let's try somebody else out, because a lot of times there's nobody that can be more dirty than an actual career politician. Seriously. You know, if we had everybody that was called to resign just because something was said badly about them or something bad was pointed out in their past, then we'd have to rebuild the entire cabinet. Let's be honest. Okay. You got to have a tough skin. Now, something that is spiritually always in the works is how Israel is being handled, especially in the last days. And currently, if it gives you any measure, Iran says that America can no longer defend Israel. And this is what Mike from Around the World said. And that, I mean, he said a lot of other things, but this in particular, I knew this was a milestone. When the other countries, especially a country like Iran, says and knows what they're saying, that America can't defend themselves, when they're going through exercise drills, just like they did recently with what it was, the UK and the United States did a drill and they lost a humongous amount of casualties in a simulation with England. They know that we're weak. That's being broadcast around the world. Okay. What's stopping them from coming here? I mean, look at who we have in office. He can't even stay awake anymore. So what do you think? I mean, if you were Russia and China, and you'd been under America's thumb all this time, and lately, the last few decades, things have been crazy. What would you think? You know, once they're going through Taiwan, they're making their way. America's on that list at some point. Trust me. And they knew that they'd have to definitely make sure America goes down to get to Israel. And that's in prophecy at some point. They're going to gather against Israel. So what's going on in real time along that concerning Israel, the two-state solution? Now, I know they always talk about it. Before, though, it would seem like it was more in the news. But this whole time since Biden's been in office, it's always been in the back of the news, like real quiet light. But right now, we've got the Pope and the Palestinian president just met up. The Pope affirms two-state solution with a Palestinian president. That's an actual article. It came out. Oh, it should have a date on it. Well, it was definitely within the last couple of days. But the Pope's position also, along with all of these other countries, what it is when Trump was in office, the Palestinian president didn't want to talk. He didn't want to do anything. He didn't want to come to the table. But now that a different president is in office, now he's ready to talk. He's gathering up, and they're pressuring Israel now. Do you understand? And so they're really pushing for this. And when you put everything together, how it says it in prophecy, eventually we're going to find war on our coastlines. And the way it's looking is those days are coming every day sooner and sooner. And, you know, talking about dividing Israel, especially since Biden is involved in this process, he's 2 thumbs up on this one, affirming he thinks a two-state solution, it's something he's totally there to help support. And then you see the environmental disasters just keep happening over us. Well, they're going to keep happening. But this article, we can read just a little bit. The Holy See press office announced on Thursday that Pope Francis and the Palestinian president, Mahmoud Abbas, met in a private audience in the Vatican on the same day. Their discussions were cordial and emphasized the good relations between the state of Palestine and the Holy See. The Pope and the president spoke about the need to promote human fraternity and through peace, and peaceful coexistence among various faiths, as well as the goal of a two-state solution in the Holy Land. With regard to the peace process between Israelis and Palestinians, it was stressed that it is absolutely necessary to reactivate direct dialogue in order to achieve a two-state solution, also with the help of a more vigorous effort on the part of the international community, the statement read. The Pope and the President also noted that Jerusalem must be recognized by all as a place of encounter and not of conflict, and that its status must preserve its identity and universal value as a holy city for all three Abrahamic religions, also through a special internationally guaranteed status. So that talks about dividing Jerusalem too, which was what the prophecy was, trying to divide Israel and Jerusalem. Come on, second trumpet. Carmen, welcome. She says, we're going to have war on our coastlines because if you read and understand your Bible, you will know that America is Babylon. A lot of people say that. Thank God. God bless you, Susie. On fire for Christ. Thank you for your prayers, Meg, honey. Freddie, welcome. Even North Korea is looking into farming black swan for food. Ooh, wow. Welcome, Trent. All right. We are caught craziness. I know, right? This is how it's coming. These birth things are coming right on top of one another, and they're talking about these coronal mass ejections that are hitting us, and how the meteors are starting to come in. And I know I saw something during the day. I was riding with Miss Betty, and it was, at first I thought it was like a plane with chemtrails, but it wasn't. It was some rock with white smoke passing through my skyline, and I was like, oh, because I hadn't seen anything like that before. I was like, wow, they're coming. But yeah, that's the world. We got a lot going on. Okay, now the Common Sense Show, he did an update on many shortages that included cat litter, canned cat food, and propane canisters. It looks like a lot of you got super smart about your Mr. Buddy heaters, and the propane canisters goes with it. But you can use those propane canisters for a lot of things, but they are going up in price. Like, they were $5 a canister so many months ago, and now they're saying like a 10 pack, I think, for $120. It's definitely going up. Yeah. Okay. The Epic Economist reported that something strange is happening at the hospitals all over America. He says that with virus numbers dwindling, hospital rooms should be emptying out, but many are overflowing. There is a mystery here, y'all. He goes on to say that Lansing, Michigan has suffering patients that are more sick than ever before, and that it's a dire situation, not just with the nurse resignations by the hundreds, but people are coming in with abdominal pain, respiratory issues, blood clots, heart conditions, and they said in suicide attempts, among other conditions. But it was he highlighted these heart conditions that a lot of them are flooding in, especially from the young and healthy age group, like the athletes. He was talking about the young and healthy athletes coming in with these heart problems. Patriot News, for example, reported high school soccer player suffered fatal cardiac arrest. I think it was during or after a game. Other reports are coming out just like that one from other states and countries. It's a worldwide thing. The medical system is, believe it or not, surprised and worried over the rise in young, healthy athletes having heart issues. Now, the exact same phenomenon is happening across the entire country, but no one seems to know the cause. Are scientists baffled again? Because usually when they're baffled, it's like there's something happened, but we don't want to say it out loud. They know. They always know. And for you, those of you that are in the know, y'all can see right there, heart problems. You got it, John Henry. Yes, you're right, Ultramarine. The kids are next. Hello, Tyrone Chad. Hello, it's good to see you. This is a world we're living in, y'all. This is the world. But see, we took a lot for granted. We took a lot of the knowledge that our grandparents knew for granted. And I believe that in this time, that if there's anything we should start focusing on, is not about exactly what we don't have when the times get really hard, but to be thankful for what we do have, like our souls, like our right to live the way we decide, no matter what somebody else thinks, and that's unstuck. Okay, we made it this far, and we're going to make it a lot further. We have God on our side. It doesn't matter what's going on out there. We're going to have to pull together, and we're going to have to keep a good attitude, because right now it's like a lot of depressing things are hitting us. It's not just the earth thing. It's everything. Everybody's kind of morale is really, really low. But once we start taking appreciation, like, when you can actually see the beauty in the flowers around you, no matter what's happening in that storm, then it's like you get closer to God. You can see the intricacy of it all, how beautifully complicated everything, every simple little thing is, and that we all belong to something that's bigger than ourselves. Yes, this is a battle for our souls. We're even told in the Bible to rejoice even in the hard times. And I know that sounds a little bit hard to do, but a lot of times it's through the hard times we get tried by fire. We become that fine gold that he's looking for. Yes, protect them. They've got great programs for homeschool, K-12 now, if y'all want to homeschool. And plus, they don't even feed your kids anyway anymore. I'm telling people, if you're going to send your kids to school, send them with food.
Oh, I know that.
All right. And the sicknesses that have been going around, like, we were talking about the super cold, super flu. It's hitting my area. Okay. It's not the CV. It's just a really bad, severe cold flu that, I believe is a mutation in nature, because that's what, when you fight Mother Nature, things mutate, things can get worse. But it's already hit our area, and I'm having to load up my babies with that vitamin C and zinc, because we're out in that world too. I want y'all to stay safe. I've got to get ready to go, and I want to say thank you to everyone that came. Thank you for all the thumbs up. Share the videos. I love you guys.
Question.
And I will talk to you soon. Bye, y'all.